just after the release of her new album, 1989, Swift removed all of her music from the streaming service. Her position? Music should not be free. But there are some places to get your Taylor fix online, and it won't cost you a dime. Our tech guy, Samuel Burke, is here to tell you how, and we'll get to her reaction as to why she believes this is the case. But first, let's talk about some of these other options. You know, I don't know, is she on Pandora? I know that you can get that for free in some cases.
Yeah, she's not totally against free music, because let's not forget, she probably wants her songs on the radio, and that's still free last time I checked. But her songs, even though they're not available on Spotify, Lynn, they're still available on iTunes Radio. So she's got this nice, sweet deal with Apple, and even Apple knows that everything's going streaming. So there's iTunes Radio, which is on your music app, if you haven't noticed it there to the bottom left of your music app. And then she's on other services like Rdio, that music app. So she's not gone from streaming, she's just gone from the big one, and that's Spotify.
Is it because iTunes and the other service are paying her and Spotify is not?
Yeah, well, and don't forget, Spotify does pay her, because a lot of people pay $9.99 a month for Spotify, and you listen to those ads, and so people are paying for those ads. The companies are paying Spotify, and they pass that music on, so people are paying. But she's one of the few people who can still sell albums the way Beyonce can, and a few other artists. So she realizes there's still a little bit money left for her if she has her music on iTunes, take it off of Spotify, and kind of force some people to pay for it. But again, like I said, just go to iTunes Radio or Rdio and get your music fixed that way.
Well, let's talk about her side of the argument. She told Yahoo Music, everything new, like Spotify, all feels to me a bit like a grand experiment, and I'm not willing to contribute my life's work to an experiment that I don't feel fairly compensates the writers, producers, artists, and creators of this music. There are a lot of other musicians that have been pretty vocal about some of these streaming services like Spotify, and they don't like the business practices and the compensation rates. And so you got to wonder whether or not there are going to be other artists to follow, or whether or not it's just going to be these big names like Taylor Swift, like Beyonce.
It's just so funny, Lynn, because these are the same people who said they didn't like iTunes. Remember when they complained about iTunes killing the CD? Remember those? They said people just are going to be buying one song, not the whole album, and then they hated iTunes. Look, technology happens, things shift. iTunes killed the CD, and now services like Spotify are killing iTunes. Even Apple knows that. That's why they created iTunes Radio. So, yes, maybe someone like Taylor Swift can get a few more pennies, or maybe a lot more than pennies, out of having her album on iTunes, but nobody, including Apple, thinks that that's the future. Everybody knows, including the music industry, that Spotify, Pandora, iTunes Radio, streaming music is the future, just like Netflix did to video rentals. That is what's happening with music now.
And you know, I do like that she's saying, listen, you may not think I need pennies, but the writers, the producers, the composers of her music also get paid in turn. All right, Samuel Burke, always interesting. Thanks so much. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Have a good one.